Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with One Punch Man. Last time on One Punch Man, we had Unparalleled Peril, where basically aliens. Yeah, there's aliens. All the Class S heroes were assembled. Also, Saitama was assembled as well, and they are going to take on the aliens. Well, we also did not meet, Metal Knight is not there, first of all, and we don't, yet know who is, Class S Rank 1. We do have, pretty much everyone else, though, including Class S Rank 2, which is Tornado, and Class S Rank 3, which is Silver Fang, which is pretty cool. But still, don't know who, Rank 1 is. Maybe we'll get that sometime. But yeah. They were taking on aliens. Saitama has already made it to the ship where the Class S heroes have not, and he is on his way to fight the boss. Yeah. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments whatsoever. This is also where I say that if you want to watch my reaction to this episode of One Punch Man, what you gotta do is head down in the description or to the pinned comments, click on the link there. That will take you over to the reaction, which you can watch just like any normal reaction, and when you're done with that, you can pop right back over here to this YouTube video for the discussion. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into this episode of One Punch Man. Here we go. Alrighty, that is the penultimate episode of Season 1. Whoo, boy, oh boy. I'm very curious how this guy's gonna fare against Saitama. Because, I mean, that's the thing, man. Even if he's the Saitama of space, Saitama is Saitama. He's the One Punch Man. So, I can't see this not ending in one punch, you know? That'd be crazy. Now, at first, it seemed like, oh, maybe it's gonna take more than one punch, but no. That was his armor that took the hit, you know? His armor took the hit, not him. So, it still applies. The One Punch Man, the One Punch rule still applies. Oh, man, oh, man. That was fun, I gotta say. Again, we still don't know who Class S Rank 1 is. I'd like to see how he fares, you know, whoever they are. Oh, boy. What an interesting episode. We can go ahead and hop into the notes. The first thing I wrote down is Class S and Tactics. Okay. Now, this worked out for them because they ended up finding the marbles. But, you know, the one guy was like, oh, hey, you know, clearly physical attacks aren't working. We need to try to find something else. Like, you know, maybe we could destroy it with heat or something. And, you know, again, I still don't know if I'm saying this right. Puri-Puri Prisoner and Silver Fang, pretty much all of them were like, oh, well, this is what I do, you know? The one guy, Batman, he was like, I hit things with a bat, that's what I do. Or, you know, them is like, oh, we have our physical attacks, that's what we do, we can't change, you know? Which is interesting that Class S heroes can't change their tactics, but the thing is, you know, kind of like they said, it's kind of like he said, it's like, yeah, they're always used to coming out on top. And that's the thing. They are the best of the best because of what they've been able to do. Whereas other heroes, you know, need to find other ways of winning, pretty much. They need to get creative with what they do. The Class S heroes don't have to do that because of how good they are. Which, on the one hand, that totally makes sense. On the other hand, that is honestly a flaw, then, with the Class S heroes, that they can't think outside the box, you know? Now, it's interesting, in all of this, Genos is basically not in this episode at all, you know? Genos is kind of on the sideline. Like, I think we barely get a cameo from him in this episode. Because when they're talking about, like, oh, well, maybe we could try to use heat. You know who's a good source of heat? Genos. Genos is great. His whole thing is incinerate, you know? Now, granted, yeah, he is strong. Genos is incredibly strong, but he has so many fire attacks as well that, yeah, it's like, okay, which I guess, you know, I guess that's sort of his thing, too. So I guess that's not really thinking outside the box for him, but that would be clever if, like, especially like Silverfang was like, hey, he's right, we need to use fire, but we have someone who can use fire. We have Genos, which maybe they're going to do that next episode because the guy is still there, but then they found the marbles. So it's an interesting thing with the Class S heroes. It's like, yeah, they can't really think outside the box, but that's because they've never had to think outside the box, So it's interesting. It's a little frustrating, but it makes sense, honestly. Oy, I'm a little stuffy all of a sudden. I don't know what that's about. We had the marbles, which was kind of interesting. Crush the marble, the head is gone. They still need to get to the marble of the one guy, the last guy there, so they'll have to figure that out. And then sort of more on that with the bombardment, which was interesting. So, I mean, I guess it just stands to reason that they would have all died from the bombardment. But luckily, Tornado was there to just stop it and send it all back. Tornado and her insane skirt, But hey, that's Class S rank 2, so it makes sense that she'd be able to just do that immediately. She's one of the best. So I like that. We had Rainbow Puss. I don't remember if he had a name or not. I just call him Rainbow Puss. He was kind of interesting. It was sort of, was like, okay, here's this guy who's way overconfident. Not even overconfident. He's just, he's, naturally kind of normally confident in his abilities. And then Saitama, it pretty much has no effect on him. But I did kind of like his powers. Like, okay, he's got like these psychic abilities and like this telekinesis, which honestly is a lot like Tornado, actually. And he actually, increased gravity on Saitama, which was interesting. Obviously, it didn't affect him. It, just sort of broke the ground underneath him. But he was still just standing there like, cool, gravity. Nice. Can I kill you now? So that, I mean, it was still pretty interesting. And then Saitama obviously just taking one pebble and throwing it, and that killed him. Always great. So that was the end of Rainbow Puss. Moomin Rider is out there. I love Moomin Rider, honestly. He's a true hero. And hey, we also got Lightning Guy, I don't remember what his name was, and Stinger. So that's cool to see them out there. And yeah, they're gonna go help save the civilians and stuff. So that was pretty cool. I like them all getting out there. And then, I mean, I know we're kind of powering through this, aren't we? But I mean, there's a lot of this is just fighting, and there's only so many things you can talk about the fighting. So, but yeah, we have the introduction of the boss, Boros, and he is basically, I like how it's basically, he's the One Punch Man of space, He goes around and he could beat people so easily, and he was so powerful. Nobody rivaled his power. And then, he got, this prophecy that there would be someone on Earth who could challenge him. And sure enough, Saitama is that guy. So that was really, really cool. I like that explanation. He's basically, it's like, okay, how do you have a huge villain for One Punch Man? Well, you make him the other One Punch Man. So, again, I'll be very curious to see how he fares in combat, Like, I'm curious if it's going to be like, Carnage Kabuto, where it's like, oh, yeah, here's, he's going crazy and he's, tossing Saitama around and stuff, but it still doesn't matter. Saitama doesn't care, and then he delivers the one punch, and then it's over, So we don't know. Now, again, I like how they did it where it's like, Saitama hits him once, and you think, oh my gosh, for a second you almost think like, oh my gosh, this guy, he can take the one punch, But no, it's his armor that took the hit. His armor took the hit, and then it shattered, and it's that armor that's been holding him back, and so now he is ready to go all out. And I just love that just drawing of Saitama just... yeah, that was really, really funny. So yeah, I'm very curious to see what the fight is going to be like. Again, I'm kind of sitting here thinking like, okay, well, if they're going to do a real final fight, first you're going to have Genos come in, get his ass kicked, and then Saitama will deliver the one punch. But Genos, again, was barely part of this episode, which is very, very weird. You know, like, you would think, like, I get that, wanted to show off some of the class as heroes, and that's great, but you would think Genos would be out there doing something, So, I don't think we're actually going to have the normal, like, Genos goes in, gets his ass kicked, and then Saitama delivers the one punch. I think it is going to be as legit as One Punch Man can be with Boros versus Saitama. So, yeah, I'll be very curious how the fight is going to play out. So, yeah. And I'll be curious if Saitama gets any credit for this, or if it's all just going to go to the Class S heroes, which it might, honestly, but none of them are on the ship yet. It's just him, So, yeah, and none of them know what he's doing, really. Except the only person who would believe that he, beat Boros, the only person that would believe that, other than Genos, would be Silverfang. But that's pretty much it, And, yeah, that's kind of all I wrote down for this episode. I know this is a bit of a shorter discussion, but I mean... What the hell was that? Oh. God, it scares the crap out of me every time. There's something... this is off topic of everything, but... on my front door, there's a Thanksgiving decoration, but it blows in the wind. So every time it hits the door, I think someone's knocking on the door, and it scares the shit out of me because I don't want people knocking on the door. Leave me the hell alone, But yeah, every time it scares me, Every time I'm just like, oh no, people! I don't want people, and it's like, oh no, it's just that damn decoration, Anyway, but yes. And, I mean, I wrote down a decent amount of notes, and this is a bit of a shorter discussion, but honestly, a lot of this is fighting, and there's only so many things, because we're not going to go into a deep analysis of every move that's used, but we pretty much covered everything. So, yeah, that is pretty much it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my One Punch Man reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.